Mathematics Ordinary Level, Paper 2, 2022, Part 3. Let's look at question number 7. Make y the subject of the formula. You will find it in my textbook, Part 1, Grade 10, 11, on page 171. Okay, but let's start. First, I'm just going to rewrite it. So it's 2 pi square root y. Now I must make y, so I must isolate that. So I must divide by 2 pi, and I divide by 2 pi, and that cancel. Do you see? Now, in order to get rid of the square root, I must square both sides. So to get that y, if I just already wrote it there, so let's rather than just do that. So it's t over 2 pi, and it's just square. You can just leave it like this, or if you can, so you can either say it's, okay, rather, if there's not standing a y, so say y equals t over 2 pi, and I square, or it's 2 square over 4 pi square. It doesn't matter. Both will be correct. Okay. Then simplify. Now this is very, very easy. This is a fraction. You can work with fractions. You will find it again on page 112. Okay, so again I'm writing 2b over 3 divide, make it a fraction over 1. So if it's 2b over 3 multiply 1 over 4. And if I simplify this, it's going to be, okay, I'm just going to write it here. So 2b, and it's going to be over 12. And then 2 can go in 1 and 2 can go in 6. So it's going to be b over 6. And that's b over 6. Easy as that. Also a very easy one. And that's page 91. And then I'm just going to multiply. But as I said, I always like first to write it myself. It's almost like I get more familiar with the sum. And now I'm just going to multiply. So this is going to be negative 12m squared plus 8m. Okay, and that's the final answer. It's unlike terms, you cannot add it further. You cannot simplify it further. You cannot add this to, because this one is having a square and this one is not having a square. Okay, and then the next one, now don't let you, I'm going to write it out because it's very small there, and I just want to show you, you will find this on page 182. And if I'm going to write it out, it's going to be x, and it's 2.5. I just write it out that you see it better, 2.5. And then it's to negative 32. Okay, so this is going to be x. Now put it over 1. So the negative 32 is on top. So it's negative 32, and 2 times 2 is 4. And that's going to be x to the power negative 8. And you can leave it like that. But it's almost like we usually go for positive indices. So then it will be 1 over x to the power 8. But we will now look at the report. I think they also took x to the power negative 8 as correct. Okay. And then solve the equation, and you can find this on page 124. Okay, and as I said, this was nice algebra. So it's 2x over 3 minus 8 equals 0. Now, if it's 1, I can make it 1 term over 1. Do you see? Okay, I take the 8 over because that's easy. Then I just cross multiply. And if I do that, I'm going to get 2x, and that is going to be 24. And then I divide 2, and I divide 2, and the value of x is going to be 12. So the value of x is going to be 12. Okay, let's go to the exam report and see what they showed us there. Okay. I think we're already here. Question 7. Excellent. Okay. So, algebra remains a problem to many candidates. Okay. So, you must start with the basics, and I think I did it in the books, and then work up to the more difficult things. So, in making y the subject of the formula, candidates struggle to correctly move the term 2 pi by division. Many could be seen subtracting 2 pi from both sides of the equation. No, there's a multiply in between the 2 pi and the 8. And the opposite of multiply is divide. That's the reason. So those that attempt to remove the square root first failed. You must first isolate it. To square 2x. The question was poorly answered with a common wrong answer. Okay, so they forgot that 2 must also be squared. So did you see? So it was 4 pi. Did you see there? Either this or this. Some candidates struggle with division of fractions in this question. Many of them converted the given expression to an equation and attempt to solve. A common wrong answer was 6. Remember, if you look at it, it was an expression and the answer should also be an expression. You don't change an expression to an equation. Okay, so there is the answer. And then number C is moderately answered. Okay, and I just want to show you that was the multiplication sum. Did you see they take this as correct? Okay, but if you said 1 over, it would have also been, that's what, or etc. Okay, so 1 over x to the power of 8 will also be correct. And then the last answer is 12. Okay, let's go back to the questions. Okay. So we are here, I think. Yes, question 8. Let's start. Now, this is a nice angle one. Nice angle, not difficult angles. Okay, and the only thing is they ask for reasons. Yeah. According to me, I don't know, you can go in the syllabus if they ask for reasons or not, but it's always good to learn the reasons and to make sure that you know the reason. Okay, because if you don't know the reason, how will you recall it? So also memorize the words. Okay, so in this one, I'm just saying this is on page 377. Okay, now what I usually like to do, I like to fill in the whole question, but I think for this case, I'm thinking we're just going to start by first reading. So points A, B, and D lies on a circle. So A, B, and D. So A, B, and D, as well as C. Okay, on a circle with center C, with center O. Okay, angle DAC is 38 and angle is 28. Okay, so this is a cyclic quadrilateral. I think they should have also mentioned there A, B, C, and D is on the circumference. Okay, but doesn't matter. You can see it on the picture. But usually don't assume something on the picture. But I think this is very clear markedly there. Okay, so find with reasons angle BAC. So BAC. Now, this is the diameter. Did you see there? This is the diameter. Now, angle in a semicircle. So if you found an angle, will always be how many degrees? 90 degrees. So what is your reason? This one, I'm going to change my color. So 90 degrees. And the reason, an angle in a semicircle is a right angle or 90 degrees. We will now see the reasons what they mention. Okay. Now, the next one, angle ABC. Now, ABC. Now, usually they help you because now it's a triangle, the green, and you have two angles because you know that's 90. So now it's easy to find that one. Do you see? You can either just say 90 minus 28 or say 180 minus 90 minus 28, but at the end, as long as you came to 62. All the angles of a triangle add up to 100. And now I'm going to tell that reason. Okay, so let's write it down. Sum of interior angles of a triangle is equal to 180. Now let's rather write that there. Is equal to 180 degrees. Okay. And then the next one, angle ADC. Now let's go back. Angle ADC. Okay. Now, in this case, okay, I didn't tell you where to find this. So for this one, you could have checked on page 364. And for the last one, you can check on page 384. Okay. So that last one, and that's why I said it's a cyclic quadrilateral. So if you are going to subtract, okay, let's just write in. I like also to write it in as I work it out. Okay, then a cyclic quadrilateral, and you can go in the textbook on page 384. Don't want to clean it. Okay, so that means, can I show you? It's all four is on the circumference. So this is opposite, and they are supplementary. They add up to 180. So basically, so this was 62. So to get this one is 180 minus that opposite one of 62. So this one is going to be 180 minus that 62, and that's going to be 118. And the reason I'm going to write here is angles in opposite segments of, and here comes the word, cyclic quadrilateral or supplementary. Or you can say they add up to 180 degrees. Okay, let's go to that exam report. Okay, going to make it bigger that you see better. They say this question, part A to C, was moderate, well answered. Many candidates could calculate or write down the correct angles, but however struggle a lot to write down the correct geometrical reason for their answers. Centers should teach and help candidates to write proper and meaningful mathematics reasons. The markers are looking for certain words, so make sure you name that certain words. Okay, so angle in a semicircle is equal to 90. Sum of the angles in a triangle equals 180, and opposite angles of a cyclic, so they will look for opposite. They will look for cyclic quadrilateral, and they will look for supplementary or add up to 180. Okay, so get that keywords must be there. Okay, let's go to the last one in this video, and then we will continue in another video. Okay. It's not a long one, so I'm going to include it in this video. It's still algebra. In this case, it's going to be factorize. It's an expression, and it's a very, very easy factorization. And you will find this on page 105 in my textbook. You will also see that I talk about a group A and a group B, and go back to my old videos. You will also see, but for me, this is in a group A because it's having a positive in front of that C. Let me just make it bigger. I want you to see good. So it's having that positive. Okay, so I will find the factors. So I will say 2 and 1 and 5 and 1. So I must multiply over cross, but I must add to get 7. So it's 5 plus 2, and that's 7. Okay, excellent. The signs in if there's a positive, group A, they are the same. And both take the sign of the middle. So not both positive, the middle sign. And then it's x. So it's going to be 5x minus 2 and x minus 1. That's going to. So 5x minus 2. I just, because I'm rewriting it. If somebody wrote x minus 1 and 5x minus 2, he will also be correct. So they just look for the two brackets. Doesn't matter the order. Just look at the insides, as long as the insides are the same. Okay. And now, very good that they ask you that. So they helped you actually in the second one. Because if you take this one and you're going to say 5x squared minus 7x plus 2, and because I'm taking, as soon as if I see a quadratic, I take everything to one side. Okay, now did you notice that that is exactly there? So they were actually helping me. They said, use now your answer of A because you already factorized it. So it's x minus 1, 5x minus 2. So we're going to solve this quadratic equation by factorization. So it's x minus 1 is equal to 0, or it's 5x minus 2, which is equal to 0. So x is equal to 1, or 5x equals 2, divide 5, divide 5. So x is equal to 2 over 5. So x is equal to 1, or x is equal to 2 over 5. And again, the order does not matter. Okay. And then they end this nice with algebraic fraction. I didn't tell you. I want to show you. This you would have found on page 142. And this algebraic fraction you will find there in my textbook. Okay. So basically, this is also not the most difficult one. So just start by finding my LCM. Now, what is my LCM? It's just a separate x and the bracket x plus 2. So basically, I'm just going to multiply there. Okay, I'd rather write it out to create space. Okay, put always brackets. So I multiply there with an x and an x. And I multiply there with the bracket x plus 2 and the bracket x plus 2. And then I'm having x squared minus, okay, bracket x plus 2 over my LCM. It should be my LCM. Otherwise, I made a mistake. And then it's going to be x squared minus x minus 2 over x plus 2. Okay, and I can go and see if this can factorize further. I think both answers will be correct, but you can always test. So if it's 2 and 1 and 1 and 1, I think this can. So 2 minus 1, that's going to be that 1. And then the biggest, because now it's in group B, because there's a negative. Do you see? So now the biggest overcross gets that negative, and this is positive x. So basically, I can say, or x minus 2, x plus 1 over x. Now sometimes, but this was not, then this can cancel with a top, but for now it did not. Okay, I want to go back. So it does not back. I'm going to just write this one in the space. But according to me, it would not, because nothing could have cancelled out. It would not make a difference. But let's go to the exam report. That's why we have the exam report and see what they expected. Okay. Let's just see. There it was. Okay, let's just go. I'll go now to the next page. Okay, number A was that factorization. Well answered. Some candidates, however, went on to solve for the values of x when it was not needed for this question and thus spoiled their answer. That it's not the equation, it's the expression. So you can only factorize. Okay, and you have to stop. Otherwise, they're going to penalize you. So those who struggled with factorization ended up either having more than 2 brackets or with a common wrong answer. Okay. So that is when both were positive, but there should be negative in the bracket. So that is incorrect. Clearly, many candidates did not understand the meaning of the words henge and henge or otherwise. So when the word henge is used in the beginning of the question, candidates are expected to derive their answer from the previous part question. So that means A must help you in B. As soon as you see henge, then look up and see that the top helps you. They are not supposed to start over again or use a different method from what they have used in the preceding part question. Okay. On this country, hence or otherwise means that candidates may continue to derive their answer from their previous part question or use a different method from what they have used in the preceding part question to obtain their answer. For example, in question, we're not expected to use the quadratic formula, for example, but rather equate their brackets of factorization to 0. So it means just use A. They wanted you to use the factorization method. Don't go to the quadratic method. Although I don't think they will penalize you, okay, we will now see. But as long as you come to the answer there, they didn't mention that you must use factorization. So although candidates knew that, okay, this is now number B, that's that algebraic fraction. So although candidates knew that they had to get the lowest common multiple of the two denominators, many could not get the correct LCM. Hence, the question was not well answered, as many lost marks. Candidates should be encouraged to make use of brackets when multiplying a monomial and binomial or polynomial instead of using the common multiplication sign. The expression is not equivalent to this, yes, because then only the x's will be multiplied. There the x will be multiplied as well as with the 2, and thus did not get any marks. Okay. But let's just go to the answers there. I know here's a typing mistake somewhere. Maybe we'll find it still. Oh, I think it's here. Okay, so do you see there? It's 5x minus 2, and the typing was just, they left out that 1. You see, that should have been x minus 1. Okay, but there you can see it. Okay, and then this... so follow through for their answers. Okay, so they helped you if you did that. And then here, do you see? It's either this one or if you did not factorize the one as I said. So they were not. So you could have left it like that, or you could have go in the top denominator factorization. Okay. Okay, I'm ending this video, and not to say that you don't know where to get your hard copies. So here is the hard copies. Okay, so let's just look there. This is the bookshops, especially this bookshops. You can also try in other regions, that ones. And yes, I'm going to end this video just by showing you this.